Welcome back to another SPY Weekly wrap up. This Monday, May 11th through Friday, May 15th. Right off the rip, for Monday, we would have been watching after this pink breakout within the green. If we would have had a retrace, a bit deeper would have been nicer, but a breakout again within the green precision on the pink. So ideally, we were looking for that long setup once it formed up. You see the buying off the open. Uh, there is possible structure here, but ideally we would have formed a deeper structure, which is what we were looking for, and that actually does occur. So you see the breakout here and retrace to that green precision and pink support, which happened right around this area here, forming up some structure, breaking out of the magenta bearish control, flipping its support within green precision to break out. At this point, it lacked continuation, so it rebuilds a structure and breaks out once more. Not too bad of an entry if you waited for the magenta support to play with the pink support, seeing that precision activating on the pink break and retrace to finally move out of the range. At this point, you would have been guiding with the green precision on the 30-minute until around the 12:30 mark, where we do break down. There is a possible scalp entry within this area, not listed because it's not ideal to be trading against the trend. For newer traders, I will try to point out the easier scalps for you guys. Um, so the next scalp then would have been something I do point out quite a bit when you see that left shoulder forms and the bear trap. Right, once that bear trap forms, and how do you typically see this? For the ones who are with me live, you always see that the magenta bearish control flips support within a stronger precision. Sellers fail to break down, buyers rally and break out, flipping this as support, giving you a nice move up with the inverted head and shoulder forming, which did lack continuation. And we had broken out of that 30-minute green algo. So once it lacked continuation again at the top range, magenta break and retrace, because of that lack of buying continuation, is not a bad Zomi all the way down. Okay, so big takeaways here was understanding the 30-minute context and waiting for a uh, deeper structure to form. Again, possible scalps within these areas, not ideal. This selling, not able to break past these lows. So ideally, we were still looking for this upside once the bullish control appeared and that second leg didn't form to break down. Um, and after that, right, just continuation up until the lack of continuation and green precision break on the 30-minute. Looking at Tuesday's action, we had a gap down. So we were going to watch for the 5-day MA to flip as resistance to see if there would be some selling continuation, which there was here. And you see that head and shoulder forming. And most importantly, if you missed this trade, it was because you weren't paying attention to the precision. So when these trades appear, it's mainly because we can see the engulfing sellers at these liquidity levels, flipping them resistance, right? So this level actually wasn't support anymore, it was resistance. Okay, but that's because of the structure and the precision appearing. Even if you miss that, right, you see this next head and shoulder forming up here. Much easier trade to have taken if you did. Well done, right? Head and shoulder off of that 5-day MA, breaking price down. And on the 30-minute at this point, you can see that green precision was selling, bringing us all the way down towards this blue algo. Which at this point, right, it was very simple, waiting for that continuation structure with the break and retrace of magenta here with that blue precision until once again we started chopping within this range, forming a bear trap. You'll see it's a very common occurrence where the bearish control magenta flips support within that blue precision on teal break to break out. Possible trade as well here on that retrace. So any of those entries would have been fine, but as long as you understand what was happening. And that was at the point with the blue algo here, pushing us all the way back up to the 5-day MA with the pink breakout here within precision, and then an end of day play with the cup and handle, though a little close to the end, so it's completely fine if you missed it. What would have been a better structure would have been the inverted head and shoulder off 5-day MA, which was around this point. So that never actually formed up. So it would have been fine to have missed the end of day trade. End of day trades, you don't need to catch them all. Big takeaways from today, or Tuesday of this day, would have been the fact with 5-day MA becoming resistance to look short, and then watching for continuation. And once the buyer or sellers lacked continuation, the Zomi here, and then reclamation of 5-day MA, and then the cup closure for the trade here. 5-day MA support, look long. 5-day MA resistance, look short. Looking at Wednesday's action, we were watching on the 30-minute to see if the buyers would contain price and keep it above 5-day MA or break 5-day MA as resistance. Right, so that's what we were watching for at the open of this day. You see 5-day MA was resistance at this point, breaking price down, possible scalps within here, yes, but not ideal. And then this is where you started to see that lack of selling continuation. Once that started happening and you noticed the blue precision appearing, breaking out, 5-day MA was around this level at this point. This pushed out of that pink and bearish control, flipping support, breaking out higher, closing that cup here, and then forming the handle, right, on the pink break with orange precision. And at this point, you would have been looking for continuation structure, so that pink break and retrace, pushing higher again. Same thing here. Continuation structure all the way out through this day. One more nice structure here off of that yellow support and magenta support, breaking out and pushing up to the 744 level where we peaked. See that volume coming in, nice climax candle, and that would have been a good point to close out your day. Big takeaways from here was understanding what was happening after the reclamation of 5-day MA and sellers gave up. We were pretty much in an algorithmic buying within this magenta for the most part of the day. So looking long at the magentas, support was completely fine if you could spot out the structure. Yeah, not too hard of a day to trade as long as you weren't going against trend. Thursday, very simply, we were in that buying continuation after the breakout of the pink here. So watching for buying continuation structure on the 1 minute, right? You see the inverted head and shoulder forming up here. Not too bad of a trade if you were able to understand that with the orange precision, seeing the head form with the break and retrace of teal. And even if you miss that, pink breaks and retraces here for you to also grab an entry. And at this point, right, until a deeper structure would have formed, it would have been ideal to stay out of the market until around the point of 1300, where we do finally break out of that orange buy or green buying. With this trade here forming up the head and shoulder, engulfing the buyers. That was a big takeaway. These buyers got engulfed. You can see that. And they used the yellow with blue precision to continue down this level, flipping it as resistance. Okay, very important. You see the yellow resistance with blue precision at this liquidity level, flipping it resistance to break down. Right at this point, you would have been waiting for the seller to reappear. And you see all of this nice liquidity building. Very simple. Wait for the structure to appear, right? Wait for those sellers to appear, and you would have not missed this move, you would have seen the green precision appearing, that bullish control, pink, flipping resistance with the head and shoulder forming very low risk. And even if you caught it at this one candle, more than enough profit near the end of day. You see they lack selling continuation at this point, failing to grab the rest of the liquidity and chopped for the rest of the day. Big takeaways here, understanding that 30-minute buying, um, continuation after the breakout, noticing the green break on the 30-minute to be able to take the trade here, watching for selling continuation at that point, lack of selling continuation, lack of buying continuation. Perfect time to wrap up. Looking at Friday's action here, we had gap down, so we were watching for that selling continuation early as the 5-day MA did flip resistance at the open. Um, so watching for those sellers to reappear and understanding the seller was appearing here, engulfing the buyers with magenta and blue precision for very low risk. Not a bad starter entry. And then the Zomi here, very, very good trade. Um, Again, if you're live with me, I do have a Discord. It'll be in the link below. Join through the Patreon. Understanding how the sellers here lacked continuation and they were weakening, and we saw that with the teal breakout. Pink support within the orange precision here, right? This head and shoulder failing. Um, and flipping this level support, giving you a very nice Zomi all the way back up towards the 5-day MA and even past that. At this point, the buyers were lacking some continuation. So you see the sellers reappearing at the 5-day MA, which was around this area here. Um, Within that blue precision, magenta resistance, very low risk entry, forming up the head and shoulder to break it down once more. And at that point, that had lacked continuation. This is where I wrap up. I don't want to overtrade this day, and that's completely fine if you did the same. If you were still watching this, though, you would have seen how magenta perfectly set up the next head and shoulder off of that 5-day MA, this time within the teal precision, but blue precision activating afterwards. Very low risk entry. This again did lack continuation, right? Not able to push and close the cup at low a day. So instead, the buyers rally, another type of Zomi play you could have taken, though in the middle of a range after both sides have lacked continuation is time to just wrap up. Unless a better structure forms up with the main algos, which you see the pink break and retrace forming liquidity to break out of the purple. Not too bad of a trade. And probably the last uh, one you should have taken once this lacked continuation as well. And so you see the note here. It's just better to wrap up instead of over trading a range. Buyer's attempt, seller's attempt, and buyer's attempt failing. Right? It's just not worth your time. It's just in a range. So big takeaways: understanding the sellers here, understanding the lack of continuation here, and then understanding the lack of buying continuation here, right? Lack of selling continuation, lack of buying continuation. We're in a range, right? Very simple. If you understand that, you'll know when not to trade. Looking at the daily, um, yeah, very simply here. I'd love to see a retest of that 20-day MA. We have flipped the 5-day MA as resistance. So hopefully we do see the retest of the 20-day MA. We haven't retested it in over a month now. Right, it is a monthly MA, so at least testing it once a month is ideal. That'd be a nice pullback to expand the range further and give us one more nice move up. Otherwise, what you'll see happen is the 5-day MA will trend to the 20-day MA, and sellers will break down the 5-day MA below the 20-day MA to start a downtrend to maybe retest the bottom Bollinger Band. Don't overthink price, guys. It's very simple. Watch the MAs, watch the 30-minute chart, Watch that blue algo, watch the pink algo. Those are where the moves will be with structure. You'll get guided every day. We'll be able to extract profits. And yeah, all right. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good rest of your weekend.